Welcome to the episode 2 of Crossroads, ladies and gentlemen. With the first question, this is a very new situation where people are avoiding crowds. The artist was recently designated as the number one unnecessary job in the entirety of India, and the GDP is taking quite a steep dive. I think we can all agree that this is probably the beginnings of uh, what could be an economic crash. So, through all of this, how do you think that art will be able to either adapt or survive? Will it change? Will it have to take a step back? What are your thoughts on this?
So the situation is really um, it's quite a situation right now. Galleries are theaters are. So of course, in terms of films and art, and anything that requires people to get together, there's definitely an economic setback will happen and has happened also because films are not releasing, art shows are not happening. And I think it's going to continue to be this way. I mean, thank God for online platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime that people are watching films, but it's honestly extremely tired to just go to Netflix and there's so much content right now. So having
Perfect.
said that, I also believe that there will be a new wave of creativity after things get back to normal. Machkane, with the coming of information technology and internet and smartphones, I feel that people were very removed from reality and their own selves. Even advertising, for example, from 30 second it came down to 20 to 15 to now something called thumb stoppers, which I think 10-second or 5-second commercials that the features on Facebook. I feel that this is a needed time that uh, that we have, and I think there will be. I'm pretty optimistic about having. I mean, expecting a new wave of creativity after ends.
Secondly, I would like to that in your films, there is often a surreal reality that is present, that is very close, that is very dear to the protagonist, and সেটা অনেক সময় রিয়ালিটির সাথে একসাথে এক্সিস্ট করে, and সেটা আসা যাওয়ার মাঝে তো একটা কুয়াশায় আচ্ছন্ন অরণ্যই হোক বা be it the depreciating world of memory in Jonaki. So, where do you think this surreal exploration of human narrative stands with respect to other forms of narrative in films?
সেটা তো আমি বলতে পারবো না, সেটা আমি কি করে বলবো? I mean, I can talk about my process and but in general, I'm not that wise to pass a statement about where surrealism stands, in terms of storytelling and narrative expression.
No, like
See, for
According to
me,
you, sir.
according to okay, so in terms of my films or my way of thinking, so I don't make films because I want to make a film যে নেক্সট কি ছবি বানাবো চলো ভাবি, ওরকম কিন্তু কোনো ব্যাপার নেই। হ্যাঁ, so I'm very attached with my memories, and I'm very nostalgic, and I'm very connected with my childhood, and I think most artists are also. And I have a liking towards relics and old things, and everything that I see uh, is very important to me. I mean, it kind of it almost gets into my system. And this is the way I am since childhood. I've not done anything else other than paint, make music, uh, do theater. So film is just like an extension of that. মানে ছোটবেলায় তো film বানাতে পারিনি কখনো। তো বড় হয়ে when resources have uh, uh, when I have found myself available to resources, I have made films. So it's just an extension of that. And if you're talking about Jonaki, for example, uh, my I was very close to my Dida, my grandmother, my mother's mother, and she was so her character is very close to the character of Jonaki in the film. So her father had studied in Oxford, and he passed away at the age of 36. And they were a very rich and affluent family in Calcutta. And overnight, they lost everything. And she got married to my grandfather, who I liked, but I don't think she found a lot of love with him. And she was always longing for love and romance, and uh, there was always a longing for that whole romance of love and togetherness, which she didn't express in clear words, but I kind of gathered that from, the stories that she would tell me about her childhood. And so, if you see Jonaki, the way I've kind of constructed that film is mainly out of my imagination of what she used to tell me. And আমি তো কখনো দিদার বাড়ি নতুন অবস্থায় দেখিনি, বা I've never seen any earlier places in all its glory. I've only seen relics and remains of it, and that is what caused pain to her. So আমি ওইভাবে I used to imagine those, in a very simplistic storybook like manner. And so after Dida passed away in 2012, no, not 2012, sorry, 2008. After 3-4 months, I started having very vivid dreams about her, which were very, very painful. Kintu ghum theke uthe, it was very difficult for me to pinpoint why I was feeling this sadness, and the nature of sadness that I was feeling was very new and unexplainable. So then I realized that it was because of these dreams that I was feeling a certain way which I cannot express. And I also kind of realized that we see these dreams because it wants to churn out certain feelings that you can't feel when you're conscious. So that is what kind of started fascinating me, because if we are living for 100 years, I think we are sleeping for 30 years. So it's as important, sleep by itself is as important as the time we are awake. And I feel that dreams are also very important because, it's a kind of a film that the subconscious puts together for you. So, it'll take a certain setting, it'll put two characters which don't go with that setting or each other. Then it'll put a sound which goes with neither of them. But all of them together will churn a feeling in you which you won't feel when you're awake. So that feeling could be of joy, of sorrow, of a deep sadness, of a deep longing. But it's a very different kind of feeling. It's a special feeling which is only relevant and experienced through dreams. So that is what I tried to create in that. আমি যা যা দেখেছিলাম, whatever I recorded of my dreams, that is what I tried and created in that film. And I don't know if I've succeeded, because obviously seeing the film, it won't make a difference to me because I know what the dreams are. But it's just trying to get it out of my system and recreating it for others. And in a way, coming to terms with whatever's happened, coming to terms with her death, and coming, and getting a sort of a closure. So I think it was that way.
I think we all found our own personal feelings or maybe some confusions that we've had in our own lives in those scenes when we saw it. So
Right.
that is
Yeah,
the
somewhere our subconscious also trying to put together pieces, sir. As I say, it was really beautiful.
Right, and everyone has very different interpretations of it, you know, and something that মানে আমি হয়তো কিছু একটা পড়েছি যেটা আমি কিছু না ভেবেই হয়তো পড়েছি, মেবি ইট ডাজন্ট হ্যাভ এনি সিগনিফিকেন্স অলসো, বাট সেটা নিয়ে হয়তো 10 জন 10 রকমের জিনিস ভেবেছে। So, you know, in that sense, I feel that it's also interesting when art is so open-ended, when, you know, everyone can just make up their own little story and want to just believe that. And everyone has different versions of it. Rather than me imposing a certain symbolism or a certain version on the entire world.
Italino Calvino, The Adventures of a Married Couple, which had also inspired an Iranian filmmaker called Keywan Karimi to make a film with the same or a similar topic. And in one of his interviews, he had said that his friends in Turkey and Brazil were inspired by this same topic. So we can see that one single topic has been inspiring filmmakers and writers worldwide, and they will all try to like remake the same topic in their own series. So, আপনার কি মনে হয় যে how to what extent would a city be able to completely change the narrative of that one topic that has been going around amongst the various filmmakers? মানে একটা সিটির কি ছাপ ফেলতে পারে এসবের উপরে?
See, a city by itself is an indicator of everything, you know, of a social structure, an economic structure, and you know. So, if this same film was, say, I don't know, if somehow a North Korean film director tried to make this film in North Korea, it would have been a completely different film, you know. And I don't know if you've read the story, but the story is, I think, a 3-page story, where
Yes, sir.
two people, so where people there's a couple who are working on different sides of the clock, and they feel the warmth of the other in bed, you know. And I think it's a universal story. Like, for example, A Star is Born. And, you know, it's made by various people, and every decade, every 5 years, there's a Star is Born. You know, it's like, I mean, wherever any city you place any story in, you know, the city will kind of adapt it and project itself through the characters, you know. So the city is always an important and very imposing character in everything. I mean, not just films, but everything. It's like, you know, two people living in the slums, two people living in middle class house, two people who are as rich as Ambani's. I mean, their socio-economic condition will always reflect through you know, their relationship. And if we are telling a story of their relationship, and we place it in an Ambani's house, we place it in a very middle class house, and we place it in, say, the slums of Dharavi, the essence of the story will be the same, but there will be a lot of you know, a lot of character that you will see through their surroundings. I mean, where it's placed. So, of course, city is a very, very important and imposing character, and a very influential character, I think.
Okay,
I mean, y'all can differ also. Y'all can don't agree.
No.
No, sir. We absolutely agree, sir. Because this idea of perspective really encourages me as well, because I love to understand. I want to understand how this perspective changes from people to people. So it's really interesting. So,
Yeah, because it's important to dive deep into the history of a person, the history of a character.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see it more in my next film, which is which is again a film set in this city and characters who are from this city, and it's way more classical in form, and it's like a drama which is set in the city, and the city is like a really, really powerful character in this film, and so I think it'll be more clear in this one, the one that's coming up.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Uh, you had to, I mean, Asha Jaan Aur Majhe was basically a film where you had to raise the money, you and your crew had to raise the money by yourselves. Like, you had no like help from a big or an official production house. So, I mean, by doing ad jobs and everything, you had to basically self-made the entire film. So that first film of yours was like you were a self-made filmmaker. So, for all the young amateur or indie filmmakers out there who will be listening to this, do you have any special experiences or tips that you might have gone through this process to share with all of us?
see, I've always been a very passionate lover, I mean, when I want someone or when I want something, when I want to express something to someone, I can go to any extent to make sure that I tell that person, that this is what you mean to me. Or if I want something, I'm ready to go to any extent to have it. And I feel that if there's something you really, really want to do for the love of it, because you really love it, you'll find a way. And there's nothing in the world that can stop you from doing that. And but when you're trying to do things for the wrong reasons, or when you have made yourself believe, or you are in some form of a delusion, then things become a little tricky. It becomes difficult, I want to make a film because I want to be a filmmaker is not a reason to make a film. One, I think, needs to really love and want to do it. I mean, Jerakum, say if you want to, if I've had a heavy meal and তারপর আমি অন্য অনেক রকম কিছু খেয়ে নিয়েছি and I really feel sick and I want to vomit, nothing in the world can stop me from doing it. And if you're in a social place where you cannot do it, you'll run around, you'll find some corner where you'll go and do it, but you'll make sure that you find it. So I feel that it should be a very internal process. It should almost be like a compulsion, and not something where you're chasing the result or the glory of being a filmmaker. By the way, I don't feel there is any glory being a filmmaker or anything. But so those reasons are all very superficial, delusional reasons. For me, I have not known any other way of being. আমি ছোটবেলা থেকে I have been very heavily interested in the arts. I've always been painting, and I had been doing a lot of magic when I was a child. I used to do shows and things like that, and and then I got into writing music. I used to play for a professional band, and so I loved doing these things, and I loved telling stories. I loved writing stories. I loved directing plays. So it's not like I've made a switch or a career decision or any of that. And luckily for me, I've not been stopped from doing any of this Chotobala. In my childhood, my parents were always very encouraging, and I was a very average student, and they never bothered me with studies or anything. So, I've always done that, and then I was studying literature. I just knew that I wanted to get study at the National Institute of Design, because I just felt that that's the place where I can really be myself. So প্রথম 2 বছর আমি পাইনি. First year I just cleared the entrance. Second year I went up to the workshop and interview, but then I didn't get through. And then third year I knew that I had to. I mean, it was happening progressively, so I thought third year to ho hi jabe. So third year it happened, and once I went there, I went completely crazy, because I could do anything that I wanted. So I specialized in graphic design, but I used to do a lot of animation. There were seniors who taught me how to animate. I started making films there, and then in third year I interned with Channel V, and then fourth year I interned with them again, and then I was working with Channel V. And Channel V, though, the whole work culture was, just do what you want to do. So,
Okay.
But then I worked there for 3-4 years, and then I kind of started feeling pukish, and wanted to kind of get my insides out. So that's when I left, and I started, focusing on myself and my work, and that's when I wanted to make Asha Ja Aur Maje. But it was extremely difficult to get anyone to put any money in, and I've even been like thrown out of houses of producers where they said, we can't do it, please get out. And so then we kind of managed to put things together. So I feel that if you really want to say something or do something, you'll really find a way. And এখন তো আরো things have become much easier. I mean, every camera is a 4K camera. Everything is really high end and very good quality. So my suggestion is never ever get worried about equipment and what you don't have. And it's always best to make use of what you have, and immense importance on writing. It's a very, very painful thing to do, just going through each and every word, and day after day correcting it and fixing it back again. It's very painful, but it's the most important thing.
স্বপ্ন দেখার সময় তো নাই, আজকে যে তোর কাজ করা চাই। স্বপ্ন দেখার সময় তো নাই, এখন ওরাও যতই ঘর যাবে ভাই, তন্দ্রা ততই ছুটবে মোটে, তন্দ্রা ততই ছুটবে। এখন ওরাও যতই
So I feel that this time is very unproductive in terms of internalization or representing the real world or what really goes on, because there's this device in our hand which are constantly removing us from everything that we need to be connected with.
Yes.
So it's very scary, because I had to go to meet an elderly person who's an actor, and he told me that তুমি এখান থেকে এসে you take the right into that goli, জাম গাছের পাশের বাড়িটা হচ্ছে আমার. Now, do you know how a jam gach looks?
Yeah.
You know how a jam gach looks, right? But I didn't know how a jam gach looked. So that is the day I realized how disconnected I am. That,
Okay.
that because that is what is natural, right? That is what the earth is. We are also natural. We are not man-made. And these are the things that we need to know. We don't know how a jam gach looks like. We don't know how, if we see a leaf, we won't be able to say what tree that leaf belongs to. But if we see, you know, something else which is related to electronic media or something, we'll immediately be able to tell you. But that's going to go again in 3 months and something new will come. Again, removing you further from reality. So I just feel that it's very important for people for everyone to, you know, give yourself that time. I understand that, you know, phones and computers and internet has become a part of our regular work, and, you know, like how we are doing this Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
You know, of course, but I think there should be a disciplined time to just preserve yourself, without which everything else becomes very superficial, even filmmaking or any other art form.
So, so it's really haunting, this alienating thing that's happening, and it actually takes us away from how we can explore things in its truest sense.
সেটা তোমার মনে হচ্ছে, আমার মনে হচ্ছে, but আমরা we are the like minorities, like 0.2%. But যারা সারাক্ষণ টিকটক করছিল বা you know সারাক্ষণ selfie, they are not the same. They don't give a shit about what we are talking about.
Exactly.
আমরাই করছি, আমরাই নিজেদের পৃথিবীতে আনন্দে আছি। হ্যাঁ, we are talking about intellectual things, thinking we are making a difference to the world, but but the reality is something else. Art can't help. তুমি আমার ছবি গিয়ে তুমি কোয়েস্ট মলে গিয়ে চালিয়ে দাও, ঠিক আছে, they burn the screen. Okay. So no, I'm being very serious. So art cannot help, but so if a person is truly in love with art, then that person can help himself by getting into the process by which he can create something which has depth or which is meaningful. So if you are a filmmaker and you want to make a film and you really want to make something that you really feel about, you know, it's important that you disconnect from everything else, go deep into that, leave your phone, leave your internet, just experience what is real, tangible around you. Experience that moment, experience that relationship that you share with your mother, why she's behaving like this, why she said this, why did she get angry. So these are the things that will help you realize a lot of things which are related to the world as a whole, social structures, where she comes from, her past, her oppressions, her sadness, what she wants to be, what she wanted to be but could not be, what she's trying to achieve through you being someone.
Right.
Yeah, so all of that. So I feel that art by itself, of course, it will help people like you and me, but as a greater thing, I'm not sure.
So the idea of asking the greater questions through art, there are filmmakers who have asked great questions about, you know, the purpose of humanity or where we are standing in this course of evolution. So even these ideas and this idea of asking this question, isn't this important? This idea of asking questions and on such massive scale.
No, of course it is. It's important. Yeah. Discussing it is also, a lot of fun in a deep way. And, there are films, there are artists who are really big and really famous. But people who can really make a difference in this world, unfortunately, don't really care about that. When we come to commercial films, when it's, like commercial Bollywood films, where you're actually addressing masses, And I also feel that India to some extent is made by Bollywood. You know, their perception of women, their perception of what romance is, what romance
Yeah.
should be like, it's kind of defined by Bollywood because it's such a powerful medium.
Even I'm asking, even that perception is changing. Even that's changing, and maybe Bollywood is doing it, and people are accepting to the new way of seeing films.
হ্যাঁ, এবার বলিউডের মধ্যে আমার যেটা মনে হয় যে ফর এক্সাম্পল ফিল্ম মানে দ্য কাইন্ড অফ ফিল্মস দ্যাট রাজকুমার হিরানি মেক্স, হ্যাঁ,
Yeah.
he has a purpose of making those films. Say for example, Silsila. I don't know how many of you have watched it. And
Yeah, we have watched it. Yeah.
হ্যাঁ, সিলসিলা নাকি দারুণ ছবি, হ্যাঁ, very milestone film and everything. And I watched it, I think a year back again. And everything that should not be is happening in that film.
Happening in the film.
Everything that is happening in the film should not be happening. Then I was watching a film. I was watching another film that was a milestone, life-changing film, Tezab. Okay,
Tezab.
very celebrated film. So Anil Kapoor first he tricks Madhuri Dixit into some bet or something.
Yeah.
Then when Madhuri Dixit, when he's loudly flaunting about this, Madhuri Dixit শুনতে পায়. But in the process of that bet, he's also fallen in love with her. তো সেটা ও ওকে ছাতে বলতে যায়, কলেজের ছাতে.
Yeah.
Now comes the tricky part. So he tells Madhuri Dixit that আমি আর কি মারছিলাম of falling in love with you, but अभी मुझे सच में प्यार हो गया है. तो Madhuri Dixit says, get lost. I don't believe you. So then he climbs up on the terrace Pachil and he says, see, if you don't accept my proposal, I will jump. So he said, do whatever you want. Right thing, he said.
Yeah.
So then he says, ঠিক আছে, I will count till 3. After that, আমি সত্যি কিন্তু লাফাবো. তখন মাধুরী বলে, তুমি লাফাও, যা ইচ্ছে করো. And she turns and she's walking on. And he counts till 3. And Madhuri's turned and he's jumped off. And he's lying on the ground with college students and everything. Cut to hospital. And bandage বেঁধে শুয়ে আছে Anil Kapoor. He's he had almost died. Madhuri Dixit comes back. Because he's jumped and done that, she falls in love with him at the hospital. So this is what we have grown up with. This is what I used to love, by the way. I wanted to run in front of a train head on after watching Gulam. So I really don't blame. And আমি মানে ক্লাস 10 অবধি পড়াশোনা করে গ্র্যাজুয়েশন করে, so studying in St. Xavier's, I wanted to do that in class 8. So it's scary that what others might want to do are doing.
So the next question is, sir, আপনার ছবিতে sound plays a very important role. শব্দ খুব অন্যভাবে ব্যবহৃত হতে দেখা গেছে. And আমি একটা example দিই, when I was watching Jonaki, so there was this track of the old man in search of Jonaki that represented reality, অন্যটা হচ্ছে the surreal world. So I felt that when the real world was shown, there was an inherent sound of traffic, and that sound was completely absent in case of the surreal world. Instead, the sound of the wind, the ruffling of the leaves, or the sound of the chirping of the birds, these things got intensified. So how do you think sound can be employed to distinguish between worlds? And do you have any other take on this? How sound can be used, and what potential it holds as an important aspect of filmmaking?
Okay, so to begin with, I think sound plays an important role in my films because sound is an important role in normal life, you know. So, but I don't know why people ask me why does sound play such an because you know everything in real life is also about sound. I mean, you hear a horn and you recognize it as you know your father's car, or you hear the sound of the fan, you know that the sound fan is on in the next room. I mean, there are sounds everywhere. I mean, it's as important as seeing. So it's just not normal for me to not give that emphasis when I'm representing life on film. So yeah, so I just feel that because it's such an important part of life itself, sound, taste, eyesight, you know, all the senses.
Yeah.
And I mean, to some extent, I even try to kind of explore smells through sound and audiovisual in my films, or the memory of smell, like triggering the memory of smell. সেটা কতটা হয় আমি জানি না. It happens for me, where you know I can smell a room, I can smell the dampness of a room, or you know I can smell a bathroom, I can smell you know the soap and how it's been. So I think it's all very visceral, and you know the way you kind of show it, and the you know everything together can maybe create a memory of smell.
I was talking about dialogues in your films. So there's a tendency where I've seen that in Jonaki itself that you have tend to capture dialogue from a distance, you know, and where the conversations unfold in muffled voices, and we don't get to hear exactly what's going on, but we try to understand what's going on, and we kind of get a picture of what's actually happening maybe. So you're talking about perspective, and from that I'm asking that how did this idea come about, capturing things from a distance and just observing?
No, that is also from my dreams. মানে তুমি for example আমার third ছবিটা যদি দেখো, it's very dialogue heavy, and there's a lot of dialogue in that. Anyway, but I mean, but that's because it demands that. I mean, the film is such that it demands a certain style of filmmaking. It demands certain you know tools that I need to use. Whereas in Jonaki, since it's from my dreams, আমি স্বপ্নে কিন্তু সেরকম ক্লিয়ারলি কখনো কথাবার্তা আমি শুনতে পেতাম না, but I used to get essence of conversations. I also used to get feelings of my mother conspiring with someone against me, and then me feeling very betrayed after that, which I have portrayed in a scene where Jim and Ratnabali, they speak.
Yes, exactly. I actually mentioned that scene here. I really loved that. That was the example. Yeah.
হ্যাঁ, তো আমি বুঝতে পারছি যে কিছু একটা হচ্ছে, something brewing, but I don't know what. And the next thing you know that my love is leaving me, you know.
Yes.
And so this whole betrayal that I felt after that dream from যে মা এরকম করতে পারলো, that kind of a feeling. And also the characters are dealt with in a very theatrical and robotic manner almost. But these are all how I see my dreams. It's not like আমি consciously এরম ভাবে জোর করে না এরম ভাবেই কথা বলবে. This is a style I want to develop. ওরম কিছু না.
Okay. The use of lights. So আমার ওই সিনটার কথাই মনে পড়ছে যেখানে আপনি বললেন যে there's a confrontation scene between Jim Sarv and Ratnabali, and there I see that you use light in a way where only the size and shape of Ratnabali's shadow changes, that shows her tension. On the other hand, Jim Sarv is seen quite static. On the other hand, there's another scene I remember where the light was really strong, the use of light, where Jonaki's mother burns the Christian gown which Jonaki wears, and it happens amidst pillars that defines the sense of orthodox, and later we see the same light as the for acting as the backdrop when Jonaki is seen in the wheelchair and her mother is carrying her. So I want to ask you about this, how the use of light and shadows become significant in a film.
Honestly, I'll tell you, আমার না যেটা ইচ্ছে হয়েছে আমি সেটা করেছি, ঠিক আছে?
আচ্ছা।
No, really, it's on that when you're on set, and I'm very intense with my location recce's and everything, and মানে I keep going over and over and over again, and ওর উপর যখন আমি সিনটা কনস্ট্রাক্ট করছি তখন মানে একবারে কিন্তু এটা হয় না. It's like you really need to kind of let yourself go in that whole scene, and then everything that I want to say, want to feel, it's like using colors, it's like painting a picture.
Yes.
And or it's maybe like cooking, মানে after every 2 minutes you'll taste a little, আরেকটু নুন দি, না এটা করি আরেকটু জিরে দি, না হিংটা না হলে the taste is not cutting, you put some hing, it's like that. So and then finally you know when you need to give it for simmer. এবার বেশি আঁচে করতে গেলে না you can just burn it. Or so you বা প্রেসার কুকারে যদি তুমি তাড়াতাড়ি করতে চাও it might be tasteless. হ্যাঁ, মানে মাংসটা সেদ্ধ হয়ে গেছে but the ঝোল does not have much taste. So you have to really, it's a lot like cooking, I think. You have to really be patient and be in that moment, and be in that process, and step by step just keep doing it, keep simmering it, keep seeing what it's tasting like. Kore, there'll come a point when you won't need to do anything else. You'll just know that it's ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's how it works with lighting and everything with me. লাইটিংও সেরকম ভাবে, এই না যে আমি জানি যে আমি এরকম ভাবে একটা লাইট করে ফিক্স করে দেবো, not always.
So does this is it about experimenting on set? What should be the actual position of light and how it happens? It may not appear on paper when you're writing, but does it happen on set?
না, দেখো সেটে ইম্প্রোভাইজেশন হয়,
হ্যাঁ,
এক্সপেরিমেন্ট টু অ্যান এক্সটেন্ট হয়, হ্যাঁ, বাট এই যে আমি রিপিটেডলি যাচ্ছি একটা সেটে টু সি হোয়াট আই ক্যান ডু দেয়ার, হ্যাঁ, হাউ আই ওয়ান্ট টু লাইট ইট আপ, হাউ আই ওয়ান্ট টু শুট ইট, which is because একটা জিনিস শুট করার there are infinite angles, right?
Yes.
What makes you choose one out of that infinity? It's a big decision, তাই না? It's not like you have, it's not like I've given you 5 options of camera angles and you need to choose one. No, there are infinite angles, and with 5 lenses in your hand there are infinite options. So make these decisions. It's not just on the day of the shoot, but repeatedly going to one place over and over again.
So now I'm moving on to a bit different question. There is a form of narrative in films which is known as the personalist political narrative, where
I have no
which is
idea
often
about it.
it's often used by filmmakers to it's quite common where human relationships are usually worked out in social and political contexts, keeping in mind those things. So they often do it at length, but I found in your film there was a very crisp exploration of the narrative, where I remember that scene where Jonaki was seen breathing heavily, as one does during sex, and there were models of soldiers that were placed along the lining of her abdomen that was falling up and down in a rhythmic motion, and it seemed as if the lining of that abdomen acted as the battlefield, worked as the battlefield itself, and it captured the tension Jonaki was going through for the man he loved, who was a part of the war himself. So how did this thing come about? Because I found it a very crisp exploration of this particular narrative.
Honestly বলবো,
হ্যাঁ,
এটা মাথায় এসেছিল and I did it.
okay.
It's just a flash that came and I did it. There's no, most of it is like that. There is no explanation. I've never thought of symbolisms or any of that ওরকম ভাবে. I have these very strange visuals. I don't know why. They always come to me. There are like various strange visuals that come to me, and I just feel like depicting them on screen, but of course not without context. It's just a flash of that scene that came to my head. আর ওইটা বোধহয় এসেছিল, wait one second, there was some sort of an acupuncture or something that it's actually a very complex question, মানে এটার কোনো উত্তর নেই.
Because I found the scene so complex. I don't know, man. It was so difficult to. The depiction was really strong. That kind of showed the entire tension Jonaki was going through at that point.
Right.
It really moved me actually, that scene. So.
Right. No, because I mean naturally I kind of I think in that way. Whatever you've seen in Jonaki is my comfort, normal thinking. Or whatever you see or you will see otherwise, it's a part of me that is exploring other forms and other stories and things like that. Kintu intrinsically I kind of think as in the form of moving installations, if I may say so.
Okay. What do you mean by moving installations, Manay?
Like an installation art where over a period of time something is transforming for a long time, and it's becoming something else. Some form of a metamorphosis is happening, and it's very difficult to explain. I think maybe in my subsequent works, when I'm again doing stuff which is very close to my personality and very close to my these visions that I get, you'll probably get to understand it more maybe.
Okay.
Like that orange scene, for example.
Yeah, I had that scene. I was actually I had a number of scenes that I wanted to discuss. So orange scene was one of them. Yeah, please. Yeah.
No, like that orange scene is like how it's just one thing changing over a period of time.
Yeah, it seemed like a step from childhood to emotional maturity. Like it seemed like there when the small girl was walking down the aisle, and after a point of time she didn't come back to pick up the oranges. It was wonderful. It was a beautiful metamorphosis. Yeah.
তো এবার ওইটা কেন ওরকম ভাবে মাথায় এসেছিল I don't know, but I've always those oranges coming out of the classroom, and প্রথমে একটা আসে, তারপর চারটে আসে, then you know it's all filled with oranges.
Yeah.
And then Jim, you know, ওই orange peel নিয়ে he's ওই
He's
আগুনটা
burning
জ্বালায়।
them. He's
হ্যাঁ,
burning them.
he's burning
Yeah.
them.
It also acted as a strong symbolism of love. মানে it represented love very strongly in the film. মানে অরেঞ্জটা দিয়ে, অরেঞ্জের পিলস এর মধ্যে and everything. Even in the first scene যখন শুরু হচ্ছে ছবিটা, তখনই প্রথম দিকে একটা দৃশ্য হয় যেখানে জিম সাব খাইয়ে দিচ্ছে
হ্যাঁ।
ললিতা চ্যাটার্জিকে। So it seemed like a very strong. So মানে কোনো particular reason ছিল না to use orange. It was something.
No, I'm
apart-
sure it's connected. I'm sure it's connected with my childhood in some way.
Okay.
কিন্তু সেটা আমি বসে মানে ডাইসেক্ট করতে বসিনি কখনো, যে কেন
আচ্ছা।
অরেঞ্জ, why not apple? Because the moment I do that, no, আমার মনে হয় I'll kind of lose, মানে ওতেই মানে I'll get trapped in that whole thinking process. তাহলে আর বানানো হবে না।
হ্যাঁ। So sir, আমি আরেকটা দৃশ্য যখন এখানে এলাম, আমি একটা দৃশ্য নিয়ে একটু কথা বলতে চাই, যেখানে জোনাকি ওয়াজ সিন সিটিং আপরাইট, একটা বিছানায় বসেছিল amidst many other বিছানা, মানে অনেকগুলো বিছানা আশেপাশে ছিল, এবং প্রত্যেকটা বিছানা একটা করে বাচ্চা মেয়েকে শুয়ে থাকতে দেখা গেছিল, and by the sound of an approaching train সবাই উল্টো দিকে চিত হয়ে শোয়, and এবং and the creaking sound of the beds, it was really haunting, and it seemed like it explored Jonaki's loneliness and transformation from the world she was leaving behind and what she was entering বিয়ের পর আর কি. So it seemed like that. So can you talk about that scene in general, because these are the few scenes that really indulged me actually.
Now, ওই সিনটা, as you said, it was ওই সিনটার পরেই I think she gets married.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like this transition that's happening within her, and I wanted to kind of show it. Again, you'll see it's like an art installation. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to show it not using her, you know, using all these children together, and that is what I came up with. You know, I kind of, and it was, again, you know, it was something that came to my mind. It's not like I don't know, it's not like I've sat down and wrote it ওরকম ভাবে যে কি করা যায় এখানে.
Okay.
It's just something that came to me.
But even the idea of the children sleeping, when it was something very organic. Why children? When I often ask myself, why children? Is it because of innocence, that transformation from innocence to...
No, also because that was meant to be the little hostel, no, where she stayed.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So
Okay.
it was a memory of her school and her hostel where she stayed.